Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Batteryman deck. Now, Batterymen are a pretty cool archetype. They used to be kind of only focused on OTKs, but they kind of have some swarming potential, some XYZ potential now kind of on top of it. But they still have a big base with that OTK setup that they can do, and just, have the ability to nuke the field really, really well. So for the Batteryman, first off, we're going to have 3 Batteryman Charger. First off, you take a look at this single tribute with 1800 attack, that's pretty terrible, right? But it gains 300 attack for all the other Thunder types on the graveyard. And when it's summoned, you could special summon any Batteryman you want, except for it. So, gives you strong field presence and really, really good in this deck because having ways to get out more than one Batteryman is very, very important. So very, very good card in this deck. Batteryman AA, pretty much known as like the OTK card. So he gains 1000 attack when he's in attack position, based on how many Batteryman AA you have, and then the same thing for defense. So if you have 2 copies of him on the field, they both have 2000 of whatever position they're in. So the idea is to do their OTK with 3 of them, which will do 9000 points of damage, obviously, and I'll get into that a bit with the spells. But definitely the staple OTK card of the deck. Batteryman Fuel Cell, usually the one you'll summon with Charger, depending on your current situation. Fuel Cell is really good, 2100 attack, again for a single tribute, but because of how he works, you can just easily special summon him most of the time, so you won't need to single tribute him, usually. He also has a pretty nice effect that you can bounce one of your opponent's cards. Used to not be that, powerful, but before like XYZ and Synchro, but now because XYZ and Synchros are big, having a bounce effect from a monster like this that can be special summoned is actually really, really good, and getting rid of some of your other Batterymen to do it isn't a big deal. And then we have Batteryman AAA. This is just a swarming card, so you use it to special summon Batteryman AAA from the hand or graveyard. Really nice that it also includes the graveyard. So basically, easy way to swarm, easy way to XYZ, very, very good card. Then Batteryman Microcell. So this little guy lets you bring out one of your lower Batterymen to kind of set up things. Very, very good that you're able to special summon in them. I'll talk more about how that'll be really, really good with the spell cards. But what's nice is he also gives you draw power on top of it. So you get his effect that you can get the card you want. He's a searcher and draw power at the same time. So really good. Thunder Seahorse, obviously great in a deck where you need to search out low attack thunder monsters, so really, really good. Obviously gets in the way of your special summoning, but still can be very important. Honest in a light-based deck. Debris Dragon, really good in this deck because you have a lot of lower attack monsters. So you'll use this for summoning out Batteryman AA usually, and you can get out Black Rose, or you can just summon your Batteryman to do what you need to do. And then finally, kind of one of the Batterymen boss. They kind of have a few different bosses, but Batteryman Industrial Strength. So this one, you basically special summon by removing Batterymen from your graveyard. He has a really good effect, allowing you to destroy a monster and a spell on the field. Not many cards can do both of that at once, which is really cool. So now for the spell card, Short Circuit. So this is the OTK card. Once you have 3 Batteryman, you destroy all your opponent's cards. So ridiculous, and now you can see all the swarming that the Batteryman can do, how it pays off so well with this card. That's why you run 3 of it. Battery Charger, it's a monster reborn for batteries, just really, really powerful. 500 life points isn't that steep considering you can, summon Batteryman from your graveyard. I mean, we have cards like Premature Burial that have gotten banned for only doing that with 800 points, so very, very nice for this deck. Inferno Reckless Summon sets up this deck really, really well. So with all the different ways you can special summon Batteryman, you could just use this to summon more, setting up the OTK, setting up Great Swarming. You're running 3 copies of most of the Batterymen in this deck, so really, really good. But yeah, it just sets up Short Circuits so well. MST, Pot of Duality, Dark Hole, Lightning Vortex. Cards like Lightning Vortex discard cards are pretty good because having Batterymen in the graveyard is not bad at all. You have a lot of different ways to use them in the graveyard. So cards like this, Divine Wrath, can be good. For the traps, Portable Battery Pack. Very good for swarming because you can pretty much summon whatever Batteryman you want. And again, using Short Circuit and stuff like that. Then some staple traps. Didn't have room for as many as I wanted. Like I couldn't put compulsory in here, but if you want, you can. Mirror Force would still be really good for this deck. I just did not have enough room with all the cards I wanted to put in this deck. So now for the extra deck in this deck. So Mostly going to have 4-star XYZs. We have a few other things like Slacker Magician, because of your microcells, Zenmaines because of your AAs. Usually won't use this, but you can. A lot of different 4-stars, you know, the 2 new ones, Exciton Knight and Silent Honor. A lot of staples, Maestroke, Blackship, Diamond Airwolf, Photon, Gagaga, Starliege and Omega because we have 4 stars. We also have a good ability to get out 6 stars, so a few of the best ones, you know, Photon, Gaia Dragon, and Constellar can be really nice. We also have 1 Black Rose because of Debris Dragon. But pretty simple extra deck. Again, you can get a 4-star XYZs really easily with Batteryman AAA, which really adds to the power of this deck. So now for the side deck. Again, side decks in my videos are just recommended cards that can also work with the deck when you're building it. It isn't necessarily a side deck for matches. So a few of the cards that might help. Super Electromagnetic Voltec Dragon. Such a long card. So this is another boss card for the Batteryman. Because it's not a Batteryman itself, I don't really like using it, but it has some really nice effects. Batteryman D can be good for stalling, and for some locks you can do, but I'm not currently running it. Also nice to have a defensive card that can also work to use Short Circuit. Thunder King Rayo, always useful and good in this deck because it's also light and thunder. Thunder Dragon can actually be really nice in this deck because it allows you to fill, you know, thin your deck, add to the graveyard, and use it for certain effects that you want. Morphotronic Magnet is just weird because you can use it with Batteryman D to kind of create a lock, which is an interesting thing. Watts and all their support and all their cards can be really interesting in this deck, so that's definitely a thing you might want to look into if you want to do a kind of a hybrid build. Again, with the hybrid builds, Lightsworns can run really well with this deck. This deck benefits from using the graveyard a lot for their cards, so that can be a really interesting engine that I might want to try one day. If you do things like light wave tuning, which I'll talk about in a sec, but if you are able to get out 4-star tuners, maybe you add Violon or something, this deck will have access to some interesting cards, you know, like Ancient Sacred Wyvern and some of the other ones. If you're running all Thunder, Solidarity can be interesting. Light wave tuning, like I said, this can be used to bring out synchros with your Batteryman a little more reliably, so that's an interesting choice. Quick Charger, just another way to search, kind of like recycling batteries. Makiyu the Magical Mist, just an interesting choice to allow you to kind of wipe your opponent. It's not the best card, but it can be good in certain situations. Hand Destruction can be really good. Again, loading your graveyard. It can also benefit a lot from you using some of the other cards that allow you to get back from the graveyard. And then, like I said before, you know, Graveyard's really good in this deck, so Call the Haunted, Limit Reverse with these lower attack monsters can both be really good. A lot of different choices in this deck, but I'm currently pretty happy with the cards that I'm using. So that's my Batteryman deck. Pretty fun, relying on, you know, OTKs, but also some nice swarming on top of it. Pretty simple deck to use, honestly. Very annoying for your opponent to deal with when you create the situation that you want. People that overextend themselves on the field a little bit too much will get wrecked by this deck, which is very nice. But if you guys have your own Batteryman decks, post below, let me know in the comments, talk about what cards you use, make suggestions for me, that kind of thing. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.